6 more classified documents. Yep. Yesterday, the Department of Justice actually found 6 more documents labeled as classified in another one of Joe Biden's homes. About a week and a half ago, the White House press secretary actually told us that, no, all the documents were found and were turned over to the Department of Justice. This isn't going to end anytime soon, kids. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move on from that. I'm going to let all the mainstream media handle it. They're going to bash him. They're going to defend him. But most of all, we all know where it ends up. No place. It's just political football. That's all it is. So why mess with it? It's going to go on and on. So tonight, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover something else. I don't know if many of you are aware, but in the last 24 hours, Antifa has been causing damage and infiltrating protests in the Atlanta area. Now, the reason why this is actually a big deal is because the Democrats and those on the left look at Antifa as they say it's an idea. It's not just an idea. Ideas are not violent. An idea is a thought process. So why would a group of protesters all of a sudden start causing damage to businesses, police cars, and I think it was a liaison station for the Atlanta PD? And all this protest was for was supposedly in protest of a new training facility for the Atlanta PD. The question is, do you know how we actually got there? Why this happened last night? In the last few months, Antifa and several activist groups formed an autonomous zone in Atlanta where no one could go. If police tried to enter, they would fight them off. If anyone that they didn't see as part of their group, they would attack them and fight them off. I'm talking about everyday people. People that are just trying to go to work, go get their kids from school. These were protesters. These were peaceful protesters. Now, what brought this on? Well, these peaceful protesters who set up this autonomous zone, okay, actually were armed. Yes, they were armed. So a couple weeks ago, the Georgia State Police actually had to intervene. They had to clear out this autonomous zone because it's disrupting everyday Atlanta life. And this can't happen. Business has to go on. Life has to go on. Now, what had happened, one of these peaceful protesters, an environmentalist, as a matter of fact, actually was armed. And when the state police tried to actually clear out this zone, the state police were fired upon by peaceful protesters, striking one of the state troopers. So in defense, the state troopers fired back and killed the peaceful protester who was firing at the Georgia state trooper. So now we get to this week. And these environmentalists or activists set up this march to go throughout downtown Atlanta to protest, what had happened, the death of one of their activist friends, and to protest a new funded training facility for the police department. Now, during this protest, supposedly, these peaceful protesters were no part of Antifa. But supposedly, Antifa had infiltrated these protests. And in their marching, they actually used signage, like for a prayer vigil, as cover to actually cause damage to police cars. They would use the banner, hold it up around wherever they were going to be, and they would take baseball bats and bash in windows, set fire to cop cars. And this was a peaceful protest. This protest is okay to the talking heads, media, and the left. Now, do any of you really truly know who Antifa is? Where they come from, where they originate, who they really, or what they really stand for? Now, many of you think they're just some anti-fascist group that, wants to fight against oppression and racism and and they want equity for everybody. Well, no, that's not who Antifa is. And tonight, I'm going to give you a little insight on it. So what we're going to do, before we actually get into the history of Antifa, I'm going to play a few things for you, and I want you to see them. So give me a second here while I break down the microphone here, and I am going to pull up the audio on the monitors here. 1 second. All right, this first one I'm going to play for you is actually during the debate between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. And I really want you to hear, we know that we're going to get all the accusations from Donald Trump, but I want you to hear and listen to the rebuttal that Joe Biden gives. This is actually very, very important.
Somebody's got to do something about Antifa and the left, because this is not a right-wing problem. This is a left.
FBI director.
This is a left-wing
white supremacist. Antifa's an idea, not an organization.
Oh, you got it.
Not militia. That's what his FBI. His FBI director said.
Well, then you know what?
We're done, sir. We're moving on to the next. We're moving.
When a bat hits you over the head, that's not an idea.
Everybody in your administration tells you the truth has a bad idea.
Can I tell you what?
You have no ideas.
Antifa is a dangerous,
all right,
radical
gentlemen,
group.
we're now moving.
Somebody.
Now, that's actually very important. Even our president of the United States claims that Antifa is not an actual organized group or an affiliation to anything. It's just an idea. It's not just an idea. I'm also going to play something else for you. I want you to see this. This is where I'm talking about where they used the banner for a vigil in order to actually use it to cover a crime.
Stop Cop City!
Oh.
Yeah, it's something else, isn't it? That's a peaceful protest. That's a peaceful protest. Now, so the media comes out and says that this is a, mostly peaceful protest. Again, it's disturbing. Now, in this case here, look at this item here that I have up for you. All right. You can see where the reporter is holding up a flyer. Look in the background on this. Look in the background. Yeah, he wants to take your focus away from the violence and the burning police cars to show you this flyer and what this is about. So you're going to tell me in protest for this is what it's about.
They want justice for him. Take a look over here if you pan over. I want to show you. This is what they were handing out at that protest. So it was a largely peaceful protest where they just wanted what they're calling justice so sorry. And right now you'll see basically they want justice for him. Take a look over here if you pan over. I want to show you. This is what they were handing out at that protest.
Fairly peaceful protest, huh? Well, everything's burning in the background. Every time that I see one of these, all I think about is the meme with the dog in the burning room. Nothing to see or everything's fine. Are you kidding me? This is ridiculous. And it's always the left. But you know what? It is. It's always the freaking left. Okay, the right does it one time. Once. Oh, but that was an insurrection. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It was not an insurrection. If you look at the highlights and like all the video of the January 6th, riot, most of those people had no idea where the hell they were. They were just wandering through the building. They couldn't do anything. Because you take a building means that you're going to take over a country? No. There's more to it than that. Come on, people. Stop playing your biases. Start looking at the truth. Now, speaking of the truth, I'm going to share this with you. All right. Antifa. Antifa is an organization that was started in the late 20s and early 30s in Germany. Yes, these were actual communists. It was a communist uprising in Germany that were actually fighting against the fascism, basically against Nazism. Yes. Now, what happened is through the course of history, they were used as an underground by the Russians as resistance movements within Germany, all through World War II. Yep. They were actually funded by, when you get into like the 60s and 70s, actually funded by the Maoists in China. Yeah. And then that's actually the origin of Antifa. They are communists. So if that is something that the Democrats want to support, communism, socialists, and that's a party that, is representing half of this country. What makes it even sadder is recent polls have actually gone to Democrats and asked them if they were actually consider themselves socialists or Democrats. Half of the Democratic Party actually claims to be socialists rather than an actual Democrat. That should bother you. But I'm sure it bothers some. Now here, you look at Antifa in the United States. It is completely depicted in a completely different way. How they're righteous and doing the right thing, looking for equity and equality for all people, except for those who actually go against what they believe. Now, isn't that fascism? So how could someone be saying that they're fighting against fascism when in fact themselves are fascists? Because if you don't agree with their way of thinking, you have to be dealt with. That's not tolerance. So it's up to you people. If that's something that you actually want to support and actually, get behind, that's up to you. But that's just another group that's out there that the left is actually supporting and to help bail out of jail in the riots in Minnesota. Yes, Kamala Harris actually started a fund, a get out of jail fund for the Antifa rioters. She did this. And a lot of them were bailed out by your government, by your vice president. All you guys got to do is just look. It's all there. It's at your fingertips. If you don't believe me, that's fine. I'm not trying to convince you. I'm just telling you what I know. If you choose to believe it, awesome. If you don't, then keep on believing what you're going to believe. Because eventually, truth always comes out. And when it happens, it always makes you look bad when especially you've been lying and trying to hide things. Look at Joe Biden today. He gets on Trump talking about, how it's terrible that he would have all these classified documents and, the way they were secured. It's terrible. Then what happens? 6 months later, look what we find. And they're still coming out. It makes you look like an idiot. So your best bet is just to actually just follow the truth. Follow the truth. That's all you can do. And you might not like it. You might not like the truth. But you know what? I'd rather have the truth than be fed a whole bunch of lies. Especially if I'm being gaslit. I mean, because that's what the media is doing to you today. That's what the White House is doing to you. That's all they're doing. They're going to try and tell you something's not happening when you can visibly see it. You're visibly living it. And you can see it all around you. But there's too many of you out there that just refuse to actually open your eyes. Everyone talks about, you need to be woke. Woke, shit. Oh, excuse me. Woke, you guys might be woke, but you're not awake. I mean, it's just common sense to be nice to somebody. Be polite until they give you reason not to. So, but anyway, Antifa. Yeah, these are not good people. Everyone talks about the Proud Boys. Oh, they're racist, they're fascist. Are you kidding me? The founder is an Afro-Cuban American. And you're saying he's a white supremacist. This is amazing. It's just the double standard on the left is just amazing. And one of my buddies always says, if the left didn't have double standards, they wouldn't have any standards at all. And it's true. So, but anyway, you guys, do a little research. Check out who Antifa is. You can find them anywhere. Look online. Look online. Find out who they are. Look where they come from. And just think, your government actually supports some of that. They really do. And just think, probably someone you know actually would support their viewpoints. They're communists. That's not what we're here in the United States. That's not the type of lifestyles that, we promote. So folks, please check them out. All right. I'm going to leave it there. I'll talk to you guys soon. Remember, kids, vote angry. Good night.